everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today's video is called the Preparedness Kitchen. What you all don't realize was for the last 2 weeks, my kitchen has become a storehouse of preserving and of working diligently for preparations for whatever may come. Today I'm going to share with you more in detail what I've been doing and share with you where is some of this food is coming from. Right here on the stove, what you see is this is bacon fat. So my husband took an hour and a half and cut the fat away from the bacon, and now we're rendering the lard. So we're rendering the lard for soap making, for cooking, for all kinds of things. This was given to me, and I'll explain to you a little bit more about it. Where the lard is going to go in, and we are going to strain it, and it's basically open canning. In other words, the lard is going to be boiling hot, and then the seal will self-seal, and that will last you for many years, but I really won't have it that long because I'm going to probably use it for making some lye soap. It's just one of those things that the old timers did. They didn't waste anything. Now, of course, you can use it in replacement of butter or all kinds of things in cooking. I'm going to be getting my dehydrators ready because I'm going to be making some breadcrumbs today. I'll show you in a little bit. And then we're going to be making some peach jelly. And I have about 40 pounds of taco meat that was given to me from the same place. We're going to go ahead and we're going to work on that. So let me set my camera up and I'll talk to you for just a moment. So what does a preparedness kitchen look like? Well, it's a kitchen that's always busy and we're always preparing all different kinds of food. I have a lot of, this is called taco meat. This actually came from a restaurant supply store, and they had so much food that they didn't know what to do with it. And I was contacted through a gentleman who has really been helping me find food. So, you know, I go to the food truck every month. Well, I don't need to get any food there anymore. In fact, I only go there to meet fellow subscribers of mine, and we meet up, and I'm there to support them in getting all the food that they want. Because in the last month, I was contacted by someone who has ties to all kinds of places where he can get food that was going to be thrown away. So I'm really excited about that. And you know, it's word of mouth, it seems like. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. And it has been such a real blessing for me. So I've been busy, let me tell you. I haven't been sharing everything on video simply because I've been just so busy. But I process 50, 60 pounds of meat. I process all kinds of things. This is taco meat. This came from restaurant style. It comes in 5-pound bags. Well, they didn't know what to do with it. And so he got it, and then he in turn gave me some of it. So preserving food, it is a lot of work. Hours and hours. I spend about 12 hours a day for the last 2 weeks with this food, all kinds of food. But that's what it means to be prepared, for preparedness. And I know not everybody can get this, but you know, I would strongly suggest that you contact some of your grocery stores, the chains, and say to them, do they have a policy where they'll get rid of food that it's only a day or two past its prime? There is a clause that happened in, I think in 1989, I shared it in another video, where it's called the Good Samaritan Act. In other words, chain stores, grocery stores cannot be held liable if they give food away for free. And that was to open the door for them to be able to have a way that they can get rid of food without throwing it out. But not all the stores know about that. So this is almost like a sloppy Joe, and that's what it looks like. And if you only had smell-o-vision here, we are rendering the bacon, which smells amazing. This taco meat smells amazing. And I'm going to be working on watermelon jelly. I'm going to be working on peach jelly. All of those things. I have corn. I'm going to share with you at the end of this video what my pantry looks like, because I think you're going to be shocked. So what am I doing all this for? Well, of course I'm doing it for my family. But not just my family. I'm doing it for people in need. In our neighborhood, I gave over 75 pounds of rice when I got all that rice that time. And I don't have to go to the grocery store at all. We don't have any food expense. None. And that is just so neat. So we don't have any food expense, and that's really good. So I'll give you an update a little bit about my hubby's work. So he did pick up some work. Now his work is twice as hard. Now he has half the pay. And so it's been a real challenge, and that's how it usually is in life. When you lose a job or lose a source of income, it seems twice as hard to get it back. So we're living on very little. We were living on very little before, but now we're living on very little. But I don't find it discouraging. We find other ways to adapt. And so we still keep trying to figure out ways that we can reduce costs. Now with his business, you have workers' compensation. We have payroll taxes. Oh, so many taxes. You know, our government really isn't for the little guy. And our government isn't for people that are entrepreneurs or people that are self-employed. And that's where a lot of our expense comes in. And so if we could eliminate that expense, we wouldn't have much expense at all. But at this point, we can't do that. So we just continue to do the very best that we can, like everybody else is right now. But being prepared is something that I want to suggest to all of you. Now I know I've been getting some emails from people who they say, you know, they can't do the things that I do. You know, physically they can't. And a lot of them are really disheartened by it. And it's really hard to know what to say because there's always little things you can do. And I know as a senior citizen, everybody is counting their pennies. They're counting their money, you know, and they don't have extra money. But places like Walmart and the Dollar Tree, you know, if you can buy just a little bit of extra, you know, you learn to eat more bland foods than what you're used to, you know, eating rice and beans. And if you have rice and you have beans, you can make millions of meals. If you have rice and beans, you can add some tomatoes to it. You can add corn, you can add beef, you can add chicken, you can add turkey. So rice and beans is something that you really got to get used to eating and just change it up a little bit. Even if you can't afford meat or you can't afford beans, you can buy a few spices at the Dollar Tree, and that you can use to really change up the flavor of your meals. So things like preparedness, you know, it's all depending on what you can do. And that's why I always tell people, you know, don't be scared. It's nothing to be scared about because fear makes people freeze. They just freeze in their tracks when they have fear. And you don't want to have that because that's no good for anybody. And, you know, when my husband, you know, lost his work and we got some back, but it's not very much. And it is hard because you do fear because you think, what are you going to do? And a lot more is on my shoulders than what it was my whole lifetime. You know, for 32 years, for 31 years, I didn't have to worry about an income. And now I help provide an income for our family. And so these things can be stressful to anybody and to everyone. All right, so now we're at the stage where it's called the cracklings, and some people eat these. I don't because it's pretty much pure fat. But now I can go ahead and we can drain it and we can put it in our quart canning jar, and then it will self-seal. And there we go. So now we have a quart of lard for whatever you need it for. You can use it for baking, cooking. You can use it to make homemade lye soap, which I have a video on. That's just one thing in a prepared kitchen. All right, I followed the blue ball book for peaches. I am doubling this recipe. I'm not too concerned if it doesn't get too thick because I can always use it as syrup, but I think I can double this recipe and have no problem with it. So if you want to do any canning, if you don't have money to get the big book, you can also get their Blue Ball Book of Preserving. I got this half off for 75 cents, and every 2 years they make a new book. So we're going to make the peach jelly out of this book. This is just something else. This is just something else I'm doing today in the preparedness kitchen. Well, the canning is done. So this is what a prepared kitchen looks like after everything's cleaned up. We made breadcrumbs. That is the bacon fat that it's going to be solidified. It takes a while because it's still so warm in the kitchen. Here is our beef that we were working on. And this here's watermelon syrup. I reuse all glass jars, and they have the button seal, and they are sealed. Here we have all the corn, all of the peaches. So this is peach jelly and the corn. And this, my friends, is a complete job, and I am so glad it's done. And there you go, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my preparedness kitchen, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. And that's a promise. So here's my pantry, everybody. This is updated. As you know, I cleaned it out the other day. I've got to find places for those jars. But there it is. It's pretty full, my friends. It's pretty full. I told somebody that I need to get a bigger house to fill this all up. Actually, my heart's desire would be is to open up my own food pantry to share with people, but I will have to have a different location and different setup for all that. But wouldn't that be neat to actually have my own food pantry for people for free, but they could come in and they could get food? So that's my heart's desire, and maybe someday that will come to pass. But until then, I'm gonna keep on prepping. See you guys tomorrow. Guys, so much for giving me such beautiful comments and everything you've done in my life and just sharing your life with mine. Thanks again.